Do Hillary Clinton and the Democratic Party have a eugenic agenda for the United States? I'll let you be the judge. Can you identify the evil person who made these statements? The first being that the number one problem in our country, the United States, is that unfit people are overbreeding. What about the racial hatred that says that black people are human weeds, just recklessly breeding and spawning human beings who never should have been born? What about the blasphemous comment that says that the worst sin a couple can commit is allowing a baby to be born? Sounds like things Adolf Hitler may have said in World War II. But it wasn't. It was actually one of his contemporaries nearly 20 years before by the name of Margaret Sanger. Margaret Sanger developed the American Birth Control League in 1921, which later turned into the Planned Parenthood Federation of America. Because she believes in eugenics, which is that entire people groups should be eliminated from the face of the earth in order to cleanse the human race, she also had a goal for the United States, a vision, we'll call it. Her vision was to purge our country of all people of color, immigrants, the handicapped, anyone who had a mental illness, anyone who was poor, and anyone who was born with a birth defect, because she thought all of these people were a horrible scourge to the human race. Well, it wasn't going to go over very well to go into poor communities and say, I really don't think that you are fit to have children, so I'm going to abort them. No. She coined the term birth control, and she went into poor neighborhoods and she offered women a choice. She offered them the choice of whether they would have children, if so, how many children they would have, and when they would have them. And she even offered to pay them if they wanted to be sterilized. And also, she knew, privately, she would say that birth control is really a means of weeding out the unfit and cleansing the human race. But publicly, she said, birth control is a means to lift people out of poverty. In 1934, she started something called the Negro Project, which was deemed as a way to help black people to control their family size in order to allow them to, of course, lift themselves out of poverty. That's what she said publicly. But privately, do you know what she said? And I quote, "We do not want word to get out that we want to exterminate the Negro population," end quote. Mrs. Sanger's hatred was not reserved for blacks, or for immigrants, or for the poor. She actually came to despise Catholics as well. One reason may be that she was brought up in a family of 11 children, and her mother died young at the age of 50, a thing that Margaret Sanger always blamed on the fact that she had so many children, and she blamed the Catholic Church for not, quote-unquote, allowing her mother to have birth control. But I say one of the reasons she hated Catholics was because Margaret Sanger was actively pursuing legislation in our nation's capital in order to make a law that every couple would have to get a birth permit in order to have a baby. That was not passed, of course, because there were so many people in this nation that believed that children are a blessing from the Lord and that they are a gift. Margaret Sanger did not agree. She was definitely had a great vision for America, don't you think? Her vision was population control and the elimination of people whom the elite deemed were unfit to live and they were a drain on our society. The reason I bring this up and why it's so pertinent to this election cycle is that in 2009, Hillary Clinton received the Margaret Sanger Award. She did so saying that she did so with highest honor. She also said, and I quote, that she was in awe of Margaret Sanger's vision. I've just told you Margaret Sanger's vision for our nation. It's to kill people who she doesn't deem are fit to live. So, that might explain a little bit why this spring, when these horrible videos came out about the atrocities that Planned Parenthood is doing, where it is killing full-term babies slowly, torturing them, ripping them limb from limb so that their body parts can be sold, that Hillary Clinton's response to that is, those videos are rather disturbing. But we must remember all of the good that Planned Parenthood has done for the last 100 years. Calling evil good? Would that also explain why this year, after 100 years of being in existence, Planned Parenthood has endorsed their very first presidential candidate? I'll give you one guess who that was. Hillary Rodham Clinton, the only person Planned Parenthood has ever endorsed as president. Could that be because she completely embodies Planned Parenthood's vision? I think so. I have another question. In light of the things that we have just found out about Hillary Clinton, that she obviously despises Catholics, or at least feels that it's okay for she and the people under her to mock them and to ridicule them, and also evangelicals. Margaret Sanger did the same thing. Didn't we just find out, and wasn't Hillary Clinton put on the spot, about stating that yes, she does have public views and private views? So did Margaret Sanger. Didn't we just find out that Hillary Clinton has called millions of Americans deplorable and irredeemable? Whoops. But she really didn't mean that. Or did she? And is that the same term that Margaret Sanger might use to refer to people as being unfit? I think so. Hillary Clinton calls murder good. So did Margaret Sanger. The only difference between Margaret Sanger and Hillary Clinton is that Hillary Clinton has the power to make us enforce her eugenics agenda. Margaret Sanger did not. On November 8th, we will have a new president of our country, and it will be either Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton. We must not allow the Clinton regime of lawlessness and murder to continue. We must vote for Donald Trump. Donald Trump is standing with us as Americans because he believes in the Constitution. He believes in our life and liberty for all citizens, born and unborn. I urge you, vote. Your vote does matter. Tell others, spread the news, and by all means, make this election be the one that shuts down the Clinton regime of destruction. Thanks so much for your time. Please share and comment.